Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to another edition of a really good podcast. Been off for a few couple weeks here and there, but we are back, and we are back better than ever. And tonight we're gonna be talking about the Star Wars movies, and I got my crew here with me tonight. Oh, a very good crew tonight. Blessed to have them. First, let me bring on my best friend Josie. What's going on?
What's up, buddy?
How you doing tonight? How you doing tonight?
I'm feeling that Sith energy tonight, man.
Oh.
Feeling that Sith energy tonight.
Oh. What did I say about All right, we got a couple of special guests with us tonight, and I gotta bring these guys in. First, she is really on almost every show on GNN. To be honest, she also runs a social media group. Let me bring on my girl Debbie. Debbie, what's going on?
Hi, William.
Hey, Debbie, how you doing? Hey,
I'm doing good.
y'all can find Debbie almost everywhere. She's on MCU Monday. She's on Cantina Happy Hour. She's been on Geek Gauntlet before, so she's almost everywhere. Now she's here. So, yeah, you can find her everywhere, guys. All right.
I'm just so famous.
You're famous. You are famous. You are G.
Well, and by the looks of your background, you were made for this episode.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So if you could see the rest of my house, this is just the bedroom.
It's just the bedroom part. You ain't seen the rest of it yet. All right, let me go ahead and bring on this gentleman. He's almost been on every show too. Now that I think about it, he's almost been on every show too. And he is the Twitter overlord. He rules Twitter with an iron fist. Yes, we bring my man Ambrose on. Ambrose, what's up?
I am but merely a Padawan to Debbie's Jedi.
Oh man, how's everybody doing? And I hope everyone's having a great night. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. Been a long day, but it was Ash Wednesday, so I had to get up and go to church. But other than that,
there you go.
Doing all right.
There you go. Geek and how you doing? Good to have you here. All right. I want to go ahead. Tonight be a special night with us coming back. I want to talk about the first three I grew up with. I'm the old head of the group. And the first three, I'm old. Debbie,
I might have you.
You might have me, Debbie. Now that I think about it.
Will, the first time I met Will in person, I made him show me his ID because I did not believe that he was in his 50s. I just didn't believe it.
Oh, so am I. So we might be pretty close in age.
I'm 51.
Oh, I got you. I'm 59.
Oh, you got me. She got me.
I mean, we all grew up with it, though, because even though you guys have years on us, keep in mind, I didn't get new Star Wars until I was 11. I mean,
Ambrose, you're probably around my age. It seems like
I turned 39 in April.
He's a little older than me. I'll be 35 in July. So
yeah, so we're in the same kind of peer group.
Yeah.
So.
Discovered it from that weird uncle.
I discovered. I've told this story a couple times. My parents were divorced, and I'd watch it with my dad on the weekends. So that
nice.
Was
Hey, we're gonna keep all over there to that side. Me and Debbie gonna have this side. Y'all can have that side right there.
William loves me.
Why? Because we're young. You're gonna come in and slaughter us.
The old parts.
Well, don't be a boomer.
Boomer.
Oh man. I do have that word banned on my YouTube channel, but it's all good. It's all good. All right, let's go ahead and break down the first movie. Ambrose went and actually did a rewatch of them all. Appreciate you doing that, buddy.
No problem, man.
I want to go around the room, and first, when you saw that first movie, and Debbie, we'll start with you. When you first saw that first Star Wars movie, what did you think? Did you think it would be what Star Wars will end up being today?
Who we going with?
You.
Oh, I thought you said John first. Okay.
I'm gonna go with you.
Well, I was blown away. My mom had died June of 77. And I didn't get to see it until later that summer. I never even heard of it. You know, I was just completely out of the loop at that time. But yeah, I went to go see it with one of my older brothers, and yeah, that became my obsession, brought me out of my depression, and yeah, that movie was everything for me at that time. I mean, the
Ambrose.
music and the Star Destroyer coming over. Yeah. Harrison Ford, who's my secret boyfriend.
Does he know he's your
I
boyfriend?
was gonna say, does he know that?
That's why it's secret.
Look, if you're gonna be Carrie Fisher, don't be Carrie Fisher from the Blues Brothers.
Ambrose, when you saw that first movie, what did you think of it? Did you really see it having the effect that it has been rolled into today?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I was. Calm down, buddy. Unfortunately, I was born in '84, so the impact was already made.
Right.
So I didn't have the experience that you guys had, where you saw it, you're like, "Wow, this is going to be huge." The first time I saw it was on VHS, and so I watched it, and I knew it was big. It was awesome. That and Indiana Jones. I'd play Star Wars, like everyone else did. I'd make forts and play around the house, and hair dryers were guns, and you're running around using your imagination. You're throwing out your mom's wrapping paper and using the tube as like the lightsaber. So it's so it had a meaningful impact on me, but I can't say it had the same impact that it had on you guys, because you got to experience it when it first. You were like the first wave. So
right.
Yeah.
Did you really see it taken off like it has though? Because since then we've got the first three, then we got the newer ones, and now it's on television. Did you really see that coming?
I didn't really think much of it. I knew it was popular. I didn't see it coming. You got to calm down, bud. I didn't see it coming until I didn't see it.
Yeah, he does.
I didn't see it coming until the re-releases, the special edition re-releases, when you showed up and there's dads there like Dave Furr dressed in like Darth Vader, and the kids are all dressed up in costumes, and the theater's packed to the rafters, and they're all there to see that movie. That's when they re-released it, and I think, what was it, 96? It was 96 or 97. It was obviously before the prequels. When you realize there were like thousands of people in that theater just to see that movie, that's when you're like, all right, this is something I never knew, but like it took a life of its own, and like this is beyond anything that any other movie or franchise can even compare to.
What do you think and then we go to Josie. Josie, when you got brought into it, you were probably more what? Prequel stage?
Well, I had actually seen, I believe it was A New Hope. My uncle was watching it, and I watched it with him. And then the prequels came out in 2001, if I'm not mistaken, I believe.
I think it was 99, 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
Okay. So at that point, I was 10, 11, 12. So those were fascinating movies to me, but I had already went back and watched the other ones. I'm really the only one in my family that's like a Star Wars geek, and really enjoys, and up until recently had the entire box set of 1 through 6. But
oh wow.
And to me, it's I think I caught it as it was. I realized it was the phenomenon it was. Like, there's one or two things. You either love Star Wars or you hate it. Like, there's usually no middle ground with anybody on it. You either love it or you hate it. And I fell in love with it, and the way it has expanded to the length that it has expanded is amazing. Like everything that we've gotten. Boba Fett was always one of my favorite characters.
Oh,
and
yeah.
what that singular character has become to the franchise, almost bigger than Luke at this point.
And piggybacking off that, I think it says a lot about hard work when you look at the first 3, 4, 5, and 6, because they hold up and stand the test of time. I'm not talking about story or dialogue, anything. Visually, they hold up and they stand the test of time better.
I was going to say
than episodes 1, 2, and 3. Episodes 1, 2, and 3 kind of look like, when you watch now, they kind of look like an old PlayStation 2 game. And when you look at episodes 4, 5, and 6, the puppetry, even some of the blue screen, it's like you can tell it's a blue screen, but you can tell they put work into putting that scenery in the background and creating a world. And in the newer movies, you just don't have that feeling of authenticity.
That's what CGI gives you. It gives you a cleaner look, but
the problem with CGI is it always improves.
Yeah.
So
what never going to look as good.
What looked great in 2001 looks not so good now.
True. What, from everything that you're seeing, I want to know, and Debbie, I'll come back to you. I want to know who everyone's favorite character is. I know what Debbie's gonna say.
Harrison Ford.
Debbie's gonna say that.
I'm sorry, I fell in love with him in 1975 when he was in American Graffiti.
I remember that.
He's a scruffy nerf herder.
And I love him for it. Damn it!
You must have been sad when they froze him.
No.
Yeah.
Honestly, him again. Damn it! But I do love Hayden and I do love Ewan.
I
mean, if any one of those would ask me out, I would hop on that so fast. It'll never happen, but I would do it.
I've got to piggyback on that real quick because I feel like Hayden gets a lot of unnecessary hate for his character.
I never understood that.
I don't either.
Even when the prequels first came out, I thought he was adorable, and
I mean, you kind of have to admit, in episode 2, his perv stare was kind of off-putting.
He can perv stare at me.
I was going to say, I'll take that perv stare any day of the week.
He perv stare. His perv stare game was on point in episode 2. Like Natalie Portman would come in and be like,
but you gotta understand, like, everybody knew exactly what he was thinking. Everybody knew.
Well, he was a teenager. I mean, come on.
What
teenage boy ain't gonna sit there and drool over Padme. Come on.
Natalie Portman.
I think the problem with Hayden wasn't Hayden. I mean, George Lucas, the best thing he did for the franchise was give up directing when it came to Empire and Return. Right. Because he's a great storyteller, but something about him can't connect with how people talk. Like when he even you can tell in episode 4, the way the characters communicate with each other in episode 4 is it's inauthentic. It's not as when Irvin Kershner was Empire, when he came in, it really just brought the dialogue around and improved it. And it came. What is an actor going to do with a 2-minute soliloquy about sand? That's not his fault. I mean, that's not his fault. He didn't write that.
Facts. Josie, let me go to you for a second. When you saw Empire, when you did see Empire Strikes Back, right?
Yes.
When you saw Empire Strikes Back, what did you think? Was that one? Did that become one of your favorites at that point?
Definitely hooked me as one of my favorite movies. Like it's got everything that a teenage or like I was probably 8 or 9 at that point. And like it's got lasers and it's got guns and it's got space cowboys and Han Solo and you've got robots and you've got this guy that can move things with just his mind.
Yep.
And it's hard for me to understand people who aren't into it. It really is. Like when somebody, our boy Stacks last night, like I've never watched it. Or he's watched
that's
it,
why I
but he
told him
doesn't.
that's his homework.
He doesn't watch, and it's not that he hasn't watched it. It's that he doesn't get interested in it. And I'm just like, how do you watch it and not get interested in it?
Right.
And now I understand that a little bit more when it comes to like 6 or 7, 8, 9. Because
But no. But
I saw a meme on 7, 8, and 9 the other day. It was like I showed my kid all the Star Wars, and she asked why there was no number 8, and I told her because I love her. I
gotta go to Debbie. Debbie, what did you think about Empire Strikes? What did you think about Empire Strikes Back, other than Han Solo?
Empire is definitely my favorite of the original trilogy. There's just, I mean, like John pointed out, the dialogue was just so much better, and I mean, you had the Emperor, and the rebellion, and it was just good. It was really good. Loved it.
What you think, Ambrose?
I think it honestly, it's I think in the whole series, it's the best made one. I think of the first 3 movies, 4, 5, and 6. I think theme wise, I love episode 4 because it's got that kind of Western theme. And it's themed like a Western. You're laughing because I threw the tennis ball. Yeah. Empire, Return of the Jedi, I think is paced a little better than the other 2. The movie, like Return of the Jedi, really moves. Like from the minute you put it on, it moves. But Empire, plot-wise, dialogue-wise, one of the things that caught me on the rewatch is everyone thinks that Darth Vader came back around when the Emperor was electrocuting Luke in Return. But when Darth Vader really started to come around, and when he realized Luke was his son, this is when he first talked to the Emperor. And this is why voice acting and acting like body language is so important to some movies, because you can see David Prowse conveying the feelings when the Emperor brings up killing Luke, and you could hear it in James Earl Jones' voice, and you kind of see the trembling behind the mask, but he's just a boy, and he knows that Luke's his son, and he knows it's wrong to kill him, and when you watch that with a fresh set of eyes, it's really like, oh, he's starting to crack right here.
Right.
And he's kind of self-sabotaging throughout the rest of the series because he doesn't want to kill Luke. So that's why he's letting them pass. He's not ordering them to kill them. Come on, man. Dog's quiet for 18 hours out of the day. I try to take an hour to do something. Okay. But anyway, yeah, so that's why body language and voice acting is underrated and very important, because, that one little scene, a lot of people don't catch it, and I didn't catch it the first 20 times I've watched the movie.
First go around, yeah.
When you actually catch on to it, it's like, yeah, he's actually catching on early on. Anakin's starting to break out at the beginning of Empire. So, I mean, I thought it's a great scene, and I think it's a scene not a lot of people bring up. And yeah, so
I want to switch gear for a minute, and I'm gonna go to Josie and then back around. What was everybody's opinion of the Ewoks?
I love the Ewoks. That's probably one of my favorite scenes of the entire movie. Up there with them meeting the Gungans. And the evilest motherfucker in the planet, Jar Jar Binks.
Oh my goodness.
Jar Jar Binks' lightsaber is as dark as night, man. That thing is...
Ewoks, man. That what was your opinion? Go ahead, Josie. Finish up.
But I mean, the Ewoks were great. They were. It was very laughable, lighthearted scene. You love that scene. And then the setting traps for the big old freaking walkers was amazing.
Well, what did you think, Debbie, of the Ewoks?
I love the Ewoks. I mean, here, of course, back then I just thought they were cute and adorable. But after watching it, a bajillion times, I mean, it's like David and Goliath. You have the Empire who, tramples over everybody. Yep. And then you got these little guys that, little teddy bears, and they literally wipe them off the face of the earth. I mean, they're on their turf, but they have their ways of fighting back.
Right.
That, even the rebels probably wouldn't have done as well. So, by themselves. So, yeah, I thought they were great. I know a lot of people dislike them for one reason or another, but I just thought it was great because it really proves that no matter how small you are, you can fight back and win.
Facts. Yeah, this is true. What'd you think of the Ewoks, Ambrose?
They grew on me. When I was younger, I didn't like them. But when you watch the whole series, and including Clone Wars, it's a running theme that it doesn't matter how primitive the people are. And it happens a couple of times. There's a bunch of episodes of Clone Wars where it happens, where they go to a planet, the same thing. And then you have the Gungeons in episode 1. They're fighting. And it's a good theme. And it's the theme of the whole series, actually, hope. You're not out because these people have big weapons and they can easily beat you. If you have, like Debbie said, if you have enough heart and you have enough hope, you can rally and you can find a way to beat them.
All right, I want to take.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
I want to ask everybody, favorite vehicle.
Oh, Slave One.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Honestly, probably Luke's Starfighter. From the first movie, the one that he bombed the Death Star with. Mm-hmm. I loved that. I always just loved that space fighter. Like, it was just single cockpit of awesomeness.
Yeah.
I like this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Debbie, and then I'll go back.
What's your favorite vehicle?
That's hard because I have a few.
That's tough.
It is. Of course, the obvious, the Falcon, because
Yes, because you're guy.
If it's related to Harrison, I love it.
Debbie's gonna make me go beat Harrison Ford's ass. How is she gonna make me do?
What's your favorite?
Ford's ass.
What's your favorite vehicle? Harrison Ford.
I'd say something, but I won't because this is a family show.
It's a family show.
Woo, doggy. The Falcon, Slave One. I really love the Naboo fighters because they're so sleek and pretty. And I do like X-Wings and
yes. The
Star Destroyers are just so menacing.
Those are awesome.
So yeah, it's really hard. But the Falcon would probably have to be number one.
I'd say I like the Slave One because something about me and Josie's age group. Boba Fett is probably the most popular character in our age group. He's my favorite. He's my favorite character too. Although Moff Gideon is a close second from The Mandalorian because he was just so menacing. I like the Slave One, but I kind of have to agree with Debbie that the ship that got the best camera shots was the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Like every time it did that like swoop and drop or the swoop and shoot at the camera, it was something about that ship where the camera, it was like beautiful. Yep. It was like the thing danced across the screen when it was featured. So
who here had the toy?
Nope.
I had the toy.
I've always wanted
toy.
I want the Millennium Falcon Lego.
My nephew has the scale Lego.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I had the original from 70s. Well, it wasn't 77 because they didn't have any toys back then, but whatever
80?
first year they came out with.
Yeah.
The Falcon. I didn't have it at that time. I had a cousin who had it, and he mailed it to me because he knew I was a huge Star Wars fan. And just recently I handed it down to my oldest son.
Oh wow.
Now he has it.
Cool.
If you guys don't mind, I'm sorry. I think I have to get him outside because he's not calming down. So allow me 1 second. Resume. I'll be right back. All right.
Okay. Do your thing. While you're doing that, I'm gonna go into Return of the Jedi. Josie, what was your thoughts about Return of the Jedi?
I mean, Ambrose kind of hit it on the head. Like, Return of the Jedi just moves. Like, the whole movie, like, you kind of come into action and it kind of stays moving in the whole time. That's probably, of the original three, my favorite. It just, there's so much into it. You get your first introduction of Boba Fett.
Yep.
Like, I'm always going to remember that. The Sarlacc pit. Jabba, like everybody's always going to talk about Slave Leia. Like, Slave Leia is over on top of every nerd fantasy.
Oh yeah.
And so it's a great movie. Plus, you really get to see Luke come into his own in that movie, and I really enjoyed that, seeing like this evolved Jedi master at this point. And how much his confidence has grown just in the first like 10 minutes when he's first on screen. Like, you're just like, oh my god, this is a totally different character.
Oh yeah. Debbie Woods, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was done. Go ahead.
Okay, what did you think about Return of the Jedi, Debbie?
Yeah, that movie was intense because, like everybody else is saying, I mean, that movie just moves down. And that's my cat, Chewy.
It's Attack of the Pets tonight, man.
It is.
Well, at least she's not meowing like she would normally do. But just that. Now, there's one particular scene that doesn't really stand up to the test of time, and that's just because visually, and that's the Rancor pit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, back then that was just like hot shit, but yeah, now you're watching, it's just like, oh man, there's just so many problems with
so many issues compared to today. So many issues compared to today.
Yeah, I enjoy watching Return of the Jedi. It's and it depends on which one you watch, which version, I guess I should say.
Yes.
Because that too. A lot of the fandom is kind of divided by the ending. So,
and there's so many Star Wars memes out there. I have the high ground. Boy. You want to talk about me using that with my ex-wife? Man, I'll be using that all the time. Girl, look, I got the high ground. Go ahead, Joseph.
You ever watched the Mythbusters special where they tested some of the Star Wars things, and they actually proved that the high ground would not have it actually would have protected him to an extent.
Okay.
So
that was interesting. I have the high ground. He didn't have the high ground. Bring Ambrose back in real quick. See, he's back. There he is.
Thank you. Wife's out of town, so he's a little anxious. So I gotta give him a little bit of TLC.
Will, I've actually got to jump over to the hardwood, but
do your thing.
Y'all have a great night.
Thank you, Josie. Appreciate you coming through. All right.
What I miss? Harrison Ford cry for help from the other room yet?
No. I was just about to ask you about the rest of what you thought about your thoughts about Return of the Jedi real quick.
Return of the Jedi. It was good. It just felt like something was missing. I mean, it's still a great movie. I still like it better than I like each one of the original three in their own way. I mean, it's kind of like, but I think it just felt like for the theme of the movie, the aesthetics were a little bit goofy in some scenes. Like, Jabba's palace is supposed to be dark and menacing, and especially when he did the special editions and he added things in. Like you have stuffed elephants like banging on the piano, and you have all these goofy looking creatures.
Well, that's my favorite part.
I mean, but the movie is supposed to have, like, if you look at the theme of the movie, it's supposed to have like dark undertones and be like, will Luke turn? Won't Luke turn? And it just came off as a little bit. It came off as a little bit lighthearted for what you were supposed to get from the movie.
But also, it's for kids. You can't go too dark.
You can't go too dark, but I mean, Temple of Doom was for kids. And he ripped a heart out, Debbie.
I know. And Harrison Ford was bare-chested.
Yes! Yeah. I will say how impressionable kids are, because my daughter was watching some of the movies with me, and I put her to bed last night. I said, "I love you, honey," and she goes, "I know."
How old is he now? Is he like 80?
80.
He's 80, and in Indiana Jones, he plays 70. He does look good for his age, so I guess
his body does making a fortune.
Apparently, he did some of his own stunts on the fifth one.
Wow!
Like some of the lighter stunts, he did them. Like, and he felt like he broke his arm doing one of them, and they had to delay shooting.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Old but spry, I guess. Old but spry. Now, 4, 5, and 6. Does 4, 5, and 6, are they better per se, or do they hold up? Let me go to Debbie. Do they hold up better than the original 3?
You mean the prequels?
Yeah, the prequels.
Okay.
Oh,
do they hold up more against the original 3?
I think they do. I mean, any show I've been on, I've always said I'm a backstory girl. And for what seemed like a million years that we didn't get Star Wars after Return of the Jedi, all we had was books, but none of them really kind of touched on how Vader came to be. So there was a lot of theories out there. We didn't have the internet either.
No, we didn't.
But there was an interview or an article, and I can't remember. I assume it was from Star Wars Insider, because I was part of that club back in the day. And he was saying that, Obi-Wan and Anakin are fighting, and Anakin falls. Now, he said into a pot of lava or something like that. So, that was kind of what we were living off of. So when they announced that they were doing the prequels, I was so excited, because I was like, oh, good. We get to see, of course, we didn't get to see Obi-Wan much in the original trilogy. So I was like, oh, we're going to get an Obi-Wan background. We're going to get a Vader background. We're going to get to see, at that time I was hoping we were going to get to see, Luke and Leia's mom, and, what made him turn. And yeah, so I think that the whole story, and I think they do hold up. I know a lot of people were not too thrilled with Phantom Menace, but I like that movie. I mean, again, dialogue. Well, that was the problem with a lot of the prequels, but outside of that, the story itself, the backstory of Obi-Wan and of course Darth Maul and Vader, that I think it holds up.
It's like with me, I'm the complete opposite of you because I hate story. I'm an action guy, and I got to get some action in somewhere. Some fighting, some lightsaber action, some gun shooting, some action. I just can't sit there and be enthralled in just story. It can be part of it, but I got to get some action in somewhere. Ambrose, what's your thoughts on the prequels?
I think if George Lucas found other people to direct them, they would have turned out a lot better. He is no one can match his storytelling, but
he needed different writers.
But also, and as much as I don't like the Disney sequels, I think Disney gets a lot of flack for things that George wasn't perfect. George made a lot of mistakes too with the series. So I mean, you gotta kind of look back. Like he wanted to do something when Disney bought and he gave them treatments, and it was like gonna be microbiotics or something, and it was gonna be like Osmosis Jones or Inner Space.
Yeah.
And
he was gonna focus on the midichlorians with the sequels. That's
okay. I mean, I don't. Maybe I read it wrong. But it was, and then like 10, like now someone interviewed him about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, people probably would have hated it." Mm-hmm. So I mean,
no one wants a backstory on midichlorians, so.
I just think. I think when he did the prequels, time passed him by, and he should have done them earlier. And that's not to say I don't like them,
right?
But
then we wouldn't have Ewan and Hayden.
And that's another thing with the prequels. I mean, Hayden did a good job with the material he was given, but when you look at 4, 5, and 6, Darth Vader is tall. He's menacing. He's got that stomping gait. Like he's got that.
Because he has a suit on and he can't walk well in it.
But he's like 6'10". He's like as tall as Chewbacca, and he's menacing. He looms over everybody. And I think Hayden Christensen is like my height.
But who are you going to find somebody that's, well over 6 foot, 7 foot, and a decent actor, and they're young?
A little guy who's done a couple movies in the 90s called Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh.
All right.
No.
You almost got Debbie cuss.
Cuss like a sailor in real life. So for me to kind of contain myself on these shows, really, I should get an Academy Award, an Oscar, for not cussing when I really want to.
Speaking of which, fun fact, I don't know if you guys know this, Alec Guinness is still the only actor to be nominated for an Academy Award in the Star Wars franchise.
And that's
wow. Oh
yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was nominated for New Hope. He was nominated. Yeah.
Because Harrison Ford should be in there.
What I'm trying to do, Debbie, I'm trying to get you and Kat on the same show. And then, if we can get you two ladies on the same show, I think we'll be good to go.
Is she Harrison Ford's secret girlfriend too?
No, it would be a 90-minute debate between who's hotter, Harrison Ford or Jason Momoa.
Yep.
Oh, word. Maybe in their prime. Jason's kind of in his prime now, but if you had Harrison Ford in his prime,
real quick. If I ever get Kat on a show with you, I have to put that up. I have to put that up. That's just a given. I have to put that up. We'll have to. Dave would kill me if I did. They would kill me if I didn't. Oh my goodness. We got 3 minutes left. So I want to go around. Debbie, what's going on with you and GNN?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure what we're doing for MCU Mondays. Because we did Ant-Man Quantumania this past Monday, and so we're trying to think of some other subjects to talk about. I mean, they wouldn't be MCU related because I think we've covered everything under the sun.
Yes.
So I think we're trying to come up with some other.
So did Kevin Feige.
What? Oh. So yeah, I think we're trying to think of some other stuff, maybe some other fandoms we could cover, until Loki comes out or whatever the next project is. And then tomorrow night, you'll see me again for the Cantina Happy Hour. We'll be talking episode 10.
I think it's 10 of Bad Batch. Is it Bad Batch?
Yeah, Bad Batch.
Okay.
The one that came out today. So
chronologically, I'm still in Clone Wars, so I haven't watched Bad Batch yet.
I need to rewatch Clone Wars and Rebels.
I'm waiting on the I'm waiting on Mandalorian to come back because my girl will be in it
next week.
Is that Rosario Dawson?
No, Fennec.
Fennec.
No.
Who?
Isn't old girl who was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Isn't she coming back?
Tamando? Oh, Fennec.
Yeah.
Fennec Shand, right?
Yeah, that's one.
Well,
that's one.
if Boba Fett's with her.
If because I didn't hear anything about her being already signed to come back for the next season.
Yeah, it depends on how long the current walk with Boba Fett is through the town, where he just randomly points at things and just spouts philosophy instead of shooting something.
I still think we'll see him in Mando. There is no way they have a big Mando war and Boba Fett's not there.
I think
they gotta be there.
I think the actor was really, really mad about how the first season of Boba Fett turned out. And I think if they let him have any input, I think they're gonna kind of tweak the character in Mando. And if they go into season 2 of Boba Fett, I think it's gonna be kind of like a soft reboot. And I think they're gonna put more action in there or something, because Tamora Morrison was really upset with how season 1 of Book of Boba Fett came out.
They would need to do a soft reboot. They would just continue with the story, but now
it's a lack of a better term. I mean, they might just send them down it might just be a little bit of a I don't know what I'm saying, but I think you're about to say what I'm trying to say. So
yeah, because they're at the end of the series. I don't think he liked being the mayor, because that's basically what he was. He was the mayor of Mos Eisley or wherever the hell they were, and he kind of said something like that, about this isn't for me. And so season 2, if they do a season 2, then it could be him and Fennec, shooting and picking beans.
Get rid of the Power Rangers.
Yeah, I didn't like them. That made no sense whatsoever to me.
You call them the Power Rangers. Oh my goodness. Amber, what you got going on with GNN, Ambrose?
Currently, I'm looking for something to write. I haven't found a subject yet. I've got a couple things kicking around in my head. Geek Gauntlet on Saturday. Are we going to be back after the hiatus last week?
Yes.
So Geek Gauntlet on Saturday, and as always, I'll be on the Twitter. Anyone watching, our Twitter is under my name right here, and follow us. We try to make things engaging and fun, and we try to give you some good takes. So
and we took the week off for Geek Gauntlet so the ladies can have Valentine's Day weekend with their husbands. Will don't celebrate Valentine's Day, so I don't give a doggone. But
I don't either.
I don't celebrate it. I ain't got no reason to celebrate it. But
thanks. All it did for me was get me yelled at for another hour.
But I ain't got no reason to celebrate, so I let those ladies have it. But Geek Gauntlet will be back this weekend, this Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on GNN. Also on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. We'll be out there. All the shows will be on our podcast channel as well, so you can check that out also. And we have Cantina Happy Hour coming up 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's 8:30 Central. So definitely check out Cantina Happy Hour. I'll be there. And I hope everyone here will be too. If there's nothing else, I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. I do appreciate it.
No problem.
No problem. Always a good time, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. And guys, we are out of here. We'll see you again next week. Same back time, same back channel for a really good podcast. Have a good night, everybody. Later, guys.